If the grid went down tonight, would your family make it through the next 72 hours? FEMA says most wouldn't, not because people don't care, but because they wait too long. That's not fear, that's data. And if you think disaster gives you time to prepare, you're already one step behind. When shelves go empty and systems collapse, it's too late to ask, what do we need? That's why today, I'm breaking down 11 critical items FEMA says every US household must keep on hand. Not next week, not next month, but right now. These aren't optional. These are survival basics. And trust me, I've been testing and researching emergency gear for over a decade, and what's on this list could mean the difference between chaos and control. And here's the part, nobody talks about some of the most important tools you'll need aren't even on FEMA's list, but I'll show you those too, including one overlooked item that might just save your life when everything else fails. If you care about staying ready when others panic, hit subscribe. This channel doesn't do fluff, just real tools, real tips, and what actually works when everything else stops. Number 1, water purification tablets. In a real disaster, clean water disappears faster than almost anything else. Grocery stores are wiped out, faucets stop running, and bottled water? Gone in hours. That's why having water purification tablets in your emergency kit is a game changer. These tablets come in small, lightweight packs, usually sealed in foil. They can fit in a pocket, a backpack, or even a wallet, but their impact? Massive. Just one tablet can purify an entire liter of contaminated water. FEMA recommends storing at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for 3 days. But what happens after that? That's where these tablets step in. If you have access to questionable water like from a river, stream, or rain barrel, these tablets can kill bacteria, viruses, and parasites that would otherwise make you sick or worse. You simply drop 1 tablet into the water, wait around 30 minutes, and it becomes safe to drink. No boiling, no filtering, no electricity. That means if the grid fails, if you're stuck without supplies, if you find yourself on the move, these tablets can keep you hydrated without risking infection or dehydration. They're often sold in camping or hiking sections. Brands like Potable Aqua, Aquatabs, and Catadine make reliable versions. Most are good for 3 to 5 years if kept dry and cool. And here's a smart prepping tip. Store a few tablets in your glove box, your go bag, and even inside your first aid kit. They're cheap, effective, and take up virtually no space. Most people think only of bottled water, but purification tablets are your backup plan when bottles run dry and clean water vanishes. If there's one small item that can make a big difference during a disaster, this is it. Number 2, unscented household bleach. Most people keep a bottle of bleach under the kitchen sink, but very few realize that plain, unscented bleach can save lives during a disaster. FEMA includes it in their emergency recommendations for one critical reason. You can use it to disinfect water when your main supply runs out. Here's how it works. If you have water that's murky, unfiltered, or from a questionable source like a rain barrel or emergency collection, a few drops of regular bleach can make it drinkable. The type you need is unscented household bleach, not lemon-scented, splash-proof, or gel versions. Look for the label that says 6% sodium hypochlorite. That's the standard type you want. To purify water, add 8 drops of bleach per gallon of clear water. If the water is cloudy, use 16 drops per gallon. Then stir it, cover it, and let it sit for at least 30 minutes. If it smells slightly like chlorine, it's safe to drink. You can also use bleach to sanitize surfaces, clean wounds if no antiseptic is available, and even disinfect bathroom areas during a sanitation failure. And here's an important tip. Bleach doesn't last forever. After about 1 year, it starts losing its strength. So always check the expiration date on the bottle and rotate it regularly. For prepping, buy a small, basic bottle of unscented bleach and store it in a cool, dark place like a closet or under the sink. You can also write the purchase date on the bottle with a permanent marker to track its freshness. If you have small children or pets, store it safely and out of reach. It's powerful, but should always be handled with care. When clean water is gone, bleach might be the only thing standing between your family and serious illness. It's simple, it's cheap, and you probably already have it. But now you know exactly what it can do and why FEMA wants it in your emergency kit. Number 3, copies of personal documents. When a disaster strikes, your home isn't the only thing at risk. Your identity, your medical history, and your legal proof of existence can all vanish in minutes. That's why FEMA recommends keeping printed copies of all essential personal documents stored safely and ready to grab. Start with ID documents, a copy of your driver's license, passport, and social security card. These are critical for proving who you are during evacuation, aid application, or shelter check-ins. Next, include medical records, especially if you or your family take regular medications, have allergies, or require emergency care. A printed list of prescriptions, doctor's contact info, and medical conditions can save time when hospitals are overwhelmed. Also include home and property documents, like your lease, mortgage papers, or insurance policy. If your home is damaged, burned, or flooded, these documents are your proof for filing claims or getting emergency assistance. Don't forget birth certificates, marriage licenses, and pet records. Many shelters or aid stations require documentation for animals too. Now here's how to store them. Use a zippered plastic folder or a waterproof document pouch. You can find these at office supply stores or online. They protect your papers from water, smoke, and dirt. Make 2 copies of everything. Store 1 copy in your emergency go bag, and the second in a separate safe location like a fireproof lockbox or with a trusted family member outside your area. For added safety, scan each document and save them digitally on a password-protected USB drive. Keep that drive sealed in the same pouch. These documents aren't just paperwork, they're your identity, your access, and your ability to recover. In an emergency, the people who move fastest are often the ones who already have proof in their hands. Don't assume your phone will work. Don't assume the cloud will be there. Paper doesn't crash, and it doesn't lose battery. Make the copies, pack the pouch, and protect what matters most. Number 4, baking soda. Most people keep a box of baking soda in the kitchen, usually sitting in the fridge or under the sink. But during a disaster, this common powder becomes a powerful survival tool. FEMA doesn't just recommend food and water, they stress the importance of multi-use items that can solve different problems. And baking soda checks every box. Let's start with hygiene. When running water is gone, baking soda can act as a dry toothpaste, deodorant, or even a foot powder. Just a small pinch can freshen your mouth or reduce body odor when showers aren't an option. It also works as a cleaning agent. Mix it with a little water to scrub dishes, sanitize surfaces, or remove stains from clothing. No strong chemicals required. In a kitchen emergency, baking soda can help suppress small grease fires. Just throw a handful directly on the flame, it smothers it fast. Do not use water that can make it worse. If your stomach acts up due to stress or unfamiliar food, baking soda mixed with water can also help neutralize acid, giving quick relief from indigestion. And here's one more use most people don't know. Baking soda helps control odors in toilets and trash bags. Just sprinkle it into your bucket toilet or garbage to reduce smells during long blackouts. Store it in a dry, cool place like your pantry or emergency bin. It comes in boxes, resealable bags, or plastic containers. All works fine. You can also transfer it to a waterproof jar or Ziploc bag for your go bag. That way, you won't have to rely on fragile cardboard packaging when it matters most. Cheap, lightweight, and available everywhere, baking soda might be one of the most overlooked prepping tools in your home. In a real crisis, it's not just about what you buy, it's about what you already have and how many ways it can help you survive. Number 5, heavy-duty work gloves. When people think about emergency supplies, they often focus on food, water, and flashlights. But there's one item that almost everyone overlooks, and it's sitting in most garages right now. I'm talking about heavy-duty work gloves, not the thin cotton gardening gloves. I mean thick, reinforced gloves made from leather, rubber-coated fabric, or cut-resistant material. The kind used in construction, demolition, or heavy cleaning. During a disaster, whether it's a storm, flood, or blackout, you'll need your hands for everything. Clearing debris, moving broken glass, fixing leaks, handling sharp or dirty objects. And if your hands get injured, your ability to do any of that disappears instantly. Even small cuts or blisters can turn into serious infections when clean water is limited and hospitals are overwhelmed. That's why FEMA includes work gloves in their basic emergency supply list. They're not just for comfort, they're for protection and survival. Here's how they help. After a flood, gloves protect your hands from contaminated water, wet insulation, and moldy surfaces. After a power outage, they help you handle broken glass, splintered wood, or damaged appliances without injury. If you need to secure a tarp, carry firewood, or fix a generator, gloves make those jobs faster and safer. They're also useful for handling sanitation tasks like lifting trash bags, cleaning a toilet bucket, or moving items that haven't been disinfected. When choosing gloves for your emergency kit, look for these features. Thick palm and finger padding, grip texture or rubber coating, snug but flexible fit. Water-resistant or waterproof material. You'll find great options at hardware stores, survival gear websites, or even automotive aisles. Brands like Mechanics, Ironclad, and Wells Lamont make reliable versions. Store a pair in your emergency bin and another in your vehicle. And if your go bag has room, include a smaller, foldable backup set. It's one of those items you won't think about until you need it. And when you do, you'll be glad you're not using bare hands in a disaster zone. Your hands are your tools. Protect them because when things fall apart, you'll be using them more than ever. Number 6. Old towels or bed sheets. Most people have old towels or bed sheets stored away in a closet. They might be stained, torn, or just unused. But in a real emergency, those old fabrics can become life-saving tools. FEMA emphasizes the importance of multi-use items in your emergency supply kit, and towels or bed sheets are one of the most flexible resources you already own. Let's start with medical uses. A towel can work as a makeshift bandage, tourniquet, or even a sling for an injured arm. You can also tear sheets into strips to create wound wraps, compresses, or padding for splints. When it's cold and there's no heat, towels help retain body warmth, especially for kids or elderly family members. They can be wrapped around legs, neck, or used as extra insulation under clothing or blankets. In sanitation situations like when toilets don't work, an old towel can become a seat cover, a wiping cloth, or be cut into washable sanitary pads. If you need to create privacy in a shared space or shelter, hang a bedsheet to act as a temporary curtain or room divider. Towels can also be placed under door gaps to block smoke or cold air, especially during fires or winter storms. And if you need to carry supplies, tie up a bedsheet like a sack or wrap tools in a towel to move them safely. To prep them properly, fold and store a few in a vacuum-sealed bag or large Ziploc to save space. You can also write emergency use on them with a marker so they're not mistaken for clean linens. They're washable, reusable, and already in your home. In a real crisis, the most ordinary items become your most important gear if you know how to use them. Number 7. Cash in small bills. In a world where almost everything runs on cards and apps, we often forget how powerful cash becomes when the system goes down. That's why FEMA recommends keeping emergency cash in small bills, because in a real disaster, digital payments don't work. When power is out, ATMs shut down. Card readers stop working. Online banking goes offline. And when that happens, paper money is the only currency that matters. Keep a mix of $1, $5, $10, and $20 bills, enough to buy fuel, food, or supplies if stores reopen without electricity. Small bills are important. In a crisis, you might not get change back. Paying $20 for a $5 item could mean losing the rest. So break your bills small before the emergency hits. Also, consider keeping a few coins in a small pouch. Some vending machines or payphones still work during outages, and they often only accept coins. Your cash should be stored in a sealed envelope, waterproof pouch, or Ziploc bag. Hide it somewhere easy to access but not obvious, like a drawer, go bag, glove box, or behind a book on a shelf. Never flash large amounts. Use it discreetly when needed. In high-stress situations, cash can attract the wrong kind of attention. Don't rely on the bank reopening tomorrow. In long-term outages, people trade based on trust, barter, or what you have in your hand, and cash still carries value in the early days. FEMA doesn't just suggest stocking supplies. They suggest being able to move, purchase, and make quick decisions, and for that, cash is essential. You don't need stacks of money, just enough to bridge the gap when digital fails. Store it, protect it, and forget about it until the moment you're glad you had it. Number 8. Manual cell phone charger. In the middle of a blackout, the first thing most people check is their phone. But what happens when the battery dies and there's no power to bring it back? That's why FEMA recommends having a manual cell phone charger in your emergency kit. When the power grid goes down, this small device can keep you connected even when nothing else works. There are two main types: hand crank chargers and solar-powered chargers. A hand crank charger lets you generate power by simply turning a handle. You plug your phone's charging cable into the device, spin the crank, and it starts charging. It takes effort, but it works, even at night or indoors. The second option is a solar charger. These have a flat panel that collects sunlight. You place it in direct sunlight during the day, and it charges an internal battery or directly powers your phone. Some models even come with 2 USB ports, so you can charge multiple devices at once. During a long outage, being able to charge your phone is about more than just making calls. It lets you check weather alerts, access stored documents, use flashlight or emergency apps, contact family or emergency services, get real-time FEMA updates if cell towers are still active. Choose a charger that's rugged, waterproof, and compact. Some models include built-in flashlights, emergency radios, or even power banks. That adds even more value in a single device. Brands like Goal Zero, Anchor, Running Snail, and Eaton make reliable versions, and most are affordable, usually under $40. Store your manual charger in your go bag, glove box, or emergency drawer. Keep it where you can reach it fast, not buried under clutter. And here's a smart tip. Test it once every few months. Plug your phone in, crank it, or charge it with sunlight, and make sure everything still works. If possible, store a charging cable with the device so you're not scrambling for the right connector during a crisis. When the lights go out and you're surrounded by silence, even a little battery can give you the edge: information, communication, and calm. A manual charger doesn't just power your phone, it powers your lifeline. Number 9. Local paper maps. We live in a world where everyone relies on GPS. Whether it's Google Maps, Waze, or phone navigation, it works perfectly, until it doesn't. But during a real disaster, GPS can fail. Cell towers may go down, internet service may vanish, and when that happens, your digital map becomes useless. That's why FEMA recommends keeping local paper maps in your emergency kit. These aren't just for travelers, they're for survival. A physical map can help you plan backup evacuation routes, find alternate roads, or locate hospitals, shelters, and fuel stations if your phone isn't working. Start by getting a street-level map of your city or town and a regional map showing nearby highways and rural areas. You can usually find these at gas stations, bookshops, or order them online. Highlight important locations with a marker: hospitals, police stations, emergency shelters, friends' or relatives' homes, and less crowded back roads. You can even write notes directly on the map like fuel stops or blocked bridges based on past local disasters. Store your maps folded in a Ziploc bag or waterproof pouch to protect them from rain, mud, or tearing. Keep one copy in your go bag and another in your car's glove compartment. Here's a smart tip. Practice using them before disaster strikes. Turn off your GPS and try navigating your neighborhood with just the map. That way it won't feel confusing if you ever need it under pressure. In an emergency, roads can be blocked, apps can crash, signals can disappear, but paper doesn't need a signal, it doesn't lose battery, and it always works. If you need to leave fast and find your way without technology, paper map might be the most powerful tool in your entire survival plan. Number 10. Steel wool plus battery. Most people have steel wool and a few old batteries lying around the house, usually tucked in a drawer or garage shelf. But very few know that this simple combination can actually start a fire in an emergency. That's why preppers and survival experts often include it in their kits, and FEMA recommends being ready with multiple fire-starting options. If lighters fail, matches get wet, or you're out of fuel, steel wool and a 9-volt battery can give you a fast and powerful flame. Here's how it works. Steel wool looks like a bunch of fine metallic hair. You can buy it in small pads at most hardware or grocery stores. The type you need is labeled 0000 or superfine. Now take a standard 9-volt battery, the kind with 2 terminals on top. When the metal fibers in steel wool touch both terminals at once, it completes an electric circuit and causes the steel to spark and glow. Within seconds, it begins to burn. The sparks are hot enough to ignite dry tinder like tissues, cotton balls, shredded paper, or dry leaves. It works even in cold, windy, or damp conditions. Just stretch the steel wool slightly to fluff it out, touch the battery terminals to it, and watch for the glowing reaction. Always keep your tinder material nearby before making contact so you can catch the flame immediately. Store your steel wool in a sealed Ziploc bag to keep it dry, and wrap your 9-volt battery in cardboard or tape so it doesn't spark by accident in storage. You can keep a set in your go bag, glove box, or kitchen drawer. It's one of the cheapest and lightest fire-starting methods you can find, and it uses items you probably already have at home. In a survival situation, being able to make fire means warmth, light, and even the ability to boil water or cook food. Steel wool and a battery don't look like survival gear, but when everything else fails, they can turn into one of the most valuable tools you own. The truth is, most people don't realize how fragile life becomes when the power goes out, the shelves go empty, or help stops coming. These 11 items aren't theories. They're not luxury prepper gear. They're basic tools that can decide whether your family stays safe or struggles when disaster hits. You probably already have some of them at home, but now you know why they matter, how to use them, and what could happen if you don't. That knowledge alone can put you ahead of 90% of households. But this video is just the start. Every week, we break down smart, realistic survival strategies, not fear, not fantasy, just calm, proven steps to get ahead of the next blackout, storm, or crisis. If you found even one item today that made you say, "I didn't know that," then hit subscribe right now, because the next tip we share might be the one that saves you or someone you love. Information is power, but only if you get it in time. So don't just watch and move on. Stay ready, stay aware, and stay with us. We're just getting started.